Hello, everybody. I hope that your new year is off to the most amazing start. It has been just insane for me, for so many of my clients and colleagues and my friends. This is the time for online business building. It is just, I almost have no words for how incredible this has been. I've actually had, I would say, the biggest start ever to my business from just the perspective of any given month, as of course, well as any given year. And I'm seeing that a lot across the board. And I think that a lot of the work that all of us have been doing, especially through the pandemic and last year, has led us to this beautiful place where we are today, where we're really able to reach people in a more powerful way. And it's just so much fun. And there has definitely been a bit of an energetic shift as well, where people are maybe transitioning a little bit more into possibility, opportunity, action, which of course often happens on the other side of the holiday season. But I'm just like feeling it at a whole new level. And I'm loving it. I'm grateful for it. So, one of the things that I was kind of thinking about when I decided I was going to record this particular episode, it was actually kind of as a result of like a bunch of ads and things like that that I've been seeing pop up. And what I've been seeing pop up, and this is not just now, but over the years as well, but it's kind of like this idea that business exists in a silo, might be the way to put it, right? And that it's just this one simple component, this one simple tactic to make you millions, whether it's ads, right? That's something that you're probably seeing. Like you just run Facebook ads or Instagram ads or YouTube ads and you build this business. Or maybe it's Facebook groups. You see that a lot. I've been seeing a lot of ads lately pop up where it's like, all we do is post in our Facebook group and we make millions and millions of dollars, right? Or Instagram content, entire programs that are just about creating Instagram content to grow. Or, you got to have ClickFunnels. And look, I have ClickFunnels in my business and I actually do all the things that I just mentioned, but it doesn't all come from one particular place. And I can tell you from over a decade of building businesses, it's not just one thing that is required to build a business. There is no one magic tactic. It doesn't exist. Okay. And I would really struggle to trust anyone who is trying to sell you this idea that it's just this one simple thing that you do. Because every now and then, yes, there will be anomalies and, people can make it work like that, but it's extremely, extremely, extremely rare. Okay. Extremely rare. And the truth is also that there would be a lot of danger in putting all of your eggs in one basket. If you just had one tactic that you were focused on, what if all of a sudden that thing stopped working, right? What if it was maybe group focused and your Facebook account got shut down? Right? Like these things happen all the time. And so you want to make sure that you have a really diverse approach to business building. It's very, very important because it's dangerous to build a business in a really narrow way, especially before you are well established in your business. And so I think when you're looking to find someone to kind of learn how to build your online coaching business from, a couple things you want to just make sure of. You never want to go with someone with that one modality approach. And I don't want you to even think that you should be implementing a one modality approach in your business because you shouldn't be. And anyone who's teaching a one modality approach is probably not going to be able to really set you up for success in the most powerful way. And it's also probably a result of them not having experience in lots of different modalities, right? Or they're teaching you kind of like the one thing that's worked for them. And that is not going to be true across the board. And additionally, this is me personally. So everyone might not agree with this, but if I were looking to build an online health and fitness coaching business, I would not work with someone who doesn't have experience in the realm of also building a brick and mortar business, even if your business is online. Because I can tell you guys, one of the reasons that I am the coach that I am today and that my clients get such amazing results and that I am able to coach at such a high level the way that I do is because of the wealth of knowledge that I created and developed from building a brick and mortar business, plus building different online coaching businesses. And I think that I could not coach at the level in the way that I do today had I not had that brick and mortar experience. It's made a huge difference for me. And I would really argue that that's true across the board. So I want to just share, and this is going to be a combination. This is not the exhaustive list. This is like the quick version of the list for the things that I have personally done in order to build businesses, whether it was my brick and mortar business or my online coaching business. So obviously, social media content, email marketing, business networking, public speaking, online conversion events, in-person or offline conversion events, strategic partnerships, affiliate partnerships, charity fundraisers, radio commercials, newspaper articles, guest expert spots, summits. I've been on them and hosted them. Podcast. You're listening to it right now. And I've been on many podcasts as well. Facebook group, warm and hot DMs, because we never do cold DMs, lead magnets, lead generation events, paid ads on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google, sponsorships. So here's what I'm not saying. Okay. That's just a small list of all the things that I've done to build my businesses, I should say. Here's what I'm not saying is go do all of these things all at once. That's not practical. It's actually not going to get you great results at all. But what I am saying is that it does take trying different tactics and really being willing to do so in a variety of ways in order to find the path that's going to work best for you, which is really why I get so frustrated when coaches come to me and they're like exasperated and they're feeling really defeated after months of posting on Instagram and getting very little traction. Okay. Because the one tactic approach is truly ineffective at best. And another thing I see frequently from coaches is, and this is really in those earlier days of business, pre six figures. Another thing I see really frequently from coaches is kind of the unwillingness to do what it takes initially to get traction. And I'll say not just get traction, but get traction consistently, right? And it's not actually about grinding 16 hours a day. So when I say doing what it takes, I'm not advocating for like super long hours, but it is about being willing to do things that maybe you don't really want to do, because I fully believe that there are dues to be paid for success, my friends. I think back to when I was getting my brick and mortar business started, and like all the things I did, all the skincare parties I attended that I didn't want to go to. I actually always kind of laugh now, but it was so painful at the time. I remember going, there were like all these, I don't know why, but there were like these different kind of like health events and things like that. And they were, in the mall, like in the Brunswick, Georgia mall, which a lot of the stores in there were like, they had like department stores and stuff, but they were like not even real stores. It was like the belt store and the leather store and the game store. And I remember specifically multiple times like having like lead generation kind of events going, and there were tables and I would get to do demos. Like there'd be Zumba people doing demos, and I'd be swinging kettlebells in the middle of the Brunswick, Georgia mall to meet people, to get out into the community, to get names for my email list. And I did that before the gym opened. I did it, in those early stages, I'd say in the first like year to year and a half. And it was embarrassing and I didn't want to do it. But guess what? I did it, right? And I expanded my audience and I expanded my reach and I got clients from it. And that was amazing. And I just think that part of what makes you successful, especially initially, is having the willingness to be diverse in your approach, obviously to get the support, but to be willing to do whatever it takes. And I had a client who is really a brand new coach recently tell me, they were like, I'm not willing to do sales calls. And my whole thing is like, I don't do sales calls anymore. I did over 500 consults in the time I had my gym. I probably did close to 1,000 sales calls in my business, probably 800 to 1,000, somewhere in there. Are sales calls required for success? No. I'll say no. But in the beginning of building a business, they're actually really critical for your experience, for your research, for your messaging, for your skill development, and really truly growing your business at a much faster rate. This is 100% true. And so you've heard me talk, if you've listened to the podcast for any amount of time, about my 5% rule. And being part of the 5%, in my opinion, is having the willingness to do whatever it takes in the beginning, because we've got the 5% who succeed and create the extraordinary, and the 95% who will just fall away, right? And let me just repeat, being in the 5%, this isn't about the number of hours you're putting in, okay? This is about the willingness to leverage a few different modalities, and really even more so, do whatever it takes, especially in those early days, to effectively build a business from a holistic perspective. And by holistic, I'm thinking diverse approach, right? Online, offline, internal, external, active, passive, like really leveraging and tapping into and testing all of these different facets of marketing. hear me again. This is not about hours. It is about creating and approaching your business from a holistic perspective. And a holistic business building approach is actually one that is sustainable. And it's not only sustainable in the effort that you're putting forth, but it's going to create a more predictable and sustainable business in general, because there are going to be ebbs and flows and things like that within your business. Like things are going to work and then sometimes they're not. And there are ups and downs, and that's natural, right? And markets change and you've got to pivot and shift. It's all natural, right? But if you've got everything in one specific tactic and you're not really taking that holistic approach to business, you really, really can shoot yourself in the foot there, or worse. Okay. And something that was working at some point will feel like it's not working anymore. And usually this is temporary and you can find solutions. But during those times, it is really important to have other avenues in order to sustain your growth in those moments. And that's another reason that that one tactic approach doesn't work, right? Because, like, what if the algorithms change, as they do frequently? I will tell you guys, I'll pose it as a question first, but it's like, okay, well, what about the iOS updates? No one saw that coming, I think, in the way that it did, or at least I didn't. Maybe some people who pay a lot of attention to tech, but like with the Apple updates that happened this year, the way that Facebook ads works, like it completely changed, right? Like it changed the ability to target and track people, and the cost of running ads got much higher, the quality of leads got much lower. It was kind of crazy. Like it was, and we've always had, for me, in ads, like ebbs and flows in that as well. But this was absolutely the most significant. And I would have been in trouble if that was the only avenue that I was reliant on, right? And so things will happen. Some of them will be circumstantial, they'll be out of your control. Other things, will kind of pop up. And you need to be prepared by giving yourself a more robust and holistic approach to business. And really, the point of this podcast today is that I want you to be both prepared for what it's going to take, and really, especially for those moments where that diverse approach is most important. And I also kind of just want to paint a more realistic picture of what a holistic approach actually looks like when it comes to building your business, and show you that the one tactic approach is simply a no-go. It's not just a Facebook group, it's not just Instagram content. Because business building is, honestly, it is the hardest and most rewarding thing that I have ever done. And easy isn't the name of the game. Okay. If you want easy, don't be in business. Because here's the thing is, like, I don't want the rewards that come from easy. And I don't think you do either. And I don't think that's why you would be listening to this podcast. And as one of my closest friends, Dr. Jade Tita, as he always says, easy is earned, right? And I love that. I love that phrase, easy is earned. So the good news is that business does get easier, and it gets easier as you put in the work, as you become more competent, as you become more knowledgeable, more proficient, and really as you get better at executing at higher and higher levels. It does start to feel easier from there, but new challenges will always be presented, right? And the tech won't hold you up as much, and you can hire support. And really, most importantly, you're going to get better at emotionally managing yourself as an entrepreneur, and no longer does everything at that point feel terrifying to you. Okay. You're like a little bit more even keel in the way that you're able to approach yourself in your own business. But you've got to wade through the murky waters in the beginning, and really at early stages in business, to arrive at that place where you have earned your easy. And you've got to learn things that are hard and uncomfortable. And what I just want to kind of close with is to tell you, like, it's time for all of us, I think, to drop the idea that business exists in a silo and that there's one magical tactical approach that'll make you rich or it'll make you free. And I just want you to really encourage every single person listening today to this podcast to really consider business as it's almost like a living creature. It's its own entity. And there's not just one thing that's required to keep a living creature alive. It really requires taking care of the whole being. And that, my friends, is the holistic approach to building a business. So I do hope that this was helpful. I would love, as always, to hear your feedback. And so you can do that, and you can share that with me by connecting with me over on social media, joining my free Facebook group, Authentic Conversion Organic Six-Figure Fitness Business. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.